Welcome to part 8 of the Your Chosen series. This part focuses on the life of Thomas, one of the disciples of Jesus, why Thomas was chosen by Jesus, and his journey of transformation. Okay, let's read John chapter 20 from verse 24 to 25. Now, Thomas, one of the 12 disciples, was not with the disciples when Jesus came. So, this was after Jesus um, was resurrected. So, the other disciples told him, "We have seen the Lord." But he said to them, "Unless I see the nails, the nail marks in his hands, and put my finger where the nails were, and put my hand into his side, I will not believe." Yeah. Now I find this interesting because this happened after Jesus resurrected, and Thomas did not still believe that Jesus resurrected. So it means that all the times that he was following Jesus, he was chosen as the disciple following Jesus, he did not believe. He did not believe. It's interesting because he saw so many things. He saw the miracles. He was with Jesus. He saw everything, but he still did not believe. And maybe that's okay. Maybe that's the very reason why Thomas was chosen to be one of the disciples, because he was the kind of person that needed evidence, not just any evidence, a specific kind of evidence. See how he described the evidence he wanted to see with so much detail, right? Such that it has to be God to meet or to fulfill that evidence is asking for, like a human being cannot, right? And Thomas, he expressed his doubt. He didn't hide it. He said, "I will not believe until I see this happen in this way." Now let's see how Jesus met that need that Thomas had. So still on John 20 from verse 26 to 29. That's what I'll read. A week later, his disciples were in the house again, and this time Thomas was with them. Though the doors were locked, Jesus came and stood among them and said, "Peace be with you." Then he said to Thomas, "Put your finger here. See my hands. Reach out to your hand and put it into my side. Stop doubting and believe." And Thomas said to him, "My Lord and my God." Then Jesus told him, "Because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed." So you see that Jesus came to answer the questions, or rather, I would say to provide the evidence that Thomas was seeking, what he was looking for. And Jesus, he said it in a way that Thomas knew that this can only be Jesus, because he wasn't here when I was telling the others that this is exactly how I want to see the evidence. And Jesus described it in this way. He said, "Put your finger here. These are my hands. Reach out to your hand. Put it in my side. Stop doubting and believe." And that's when Thomas believed. So that's why Thomas was chosen, because Jesus saw that need he had for evidence, and he saw that need as an opportunity for him to reveal himself to Thomas in a way that he would eventually believe. And he was patient with him. He was patient with him up to the time he was working with him. He never pressured him into believing. He was patient because there was an appointed time. There was a time where he would express his doubts. He would finally express it. And when he does, Jesus will be there to provide the evidence that he was seeking. So Jesus met Thomas in his doubt. And I really like that Jesus does not shame seekers, or he doesn't shame or ignore people who are looking for more evidence or a specific kind of evidence. Instead, he reveals himself to them in a way that when they see the evidence, they will know and they will believe. Thomas' journey shows that it's possible to be a Christian but still not believe in the power of Jesus' death and resurrection. Not because you have anything bad against Jesus, it's just you've just not had that opportunity to have an evidence presented to you that would help you and make you believe. And when you believe, you can't, in quotes, unbelieve, right? It's there. You saw the evidence, you experienced it. What Thomas went through, no one could take that away from him. That was his gift, right? And from there onwards, he believed, right? So if you are still having those doubts and there are specific things you want to see in your life that would make you believe in the finished work of Jesus' death and resurrection, the power that comes from it and the power made available to us as Christians, you can bring those doubts to God. You can tell him that I want to see this in my life. I want to see this in my home, in my health, in my career, in my ministry, in my finances, in my family, in my children, in my spouse. I want to see this evidence. And when I see this, I will believe that truly you died for me and you live for me. I would see it. I would believe it. And when you present your doubts to God, that's also you being being real with him, being humble, knowing that there's so much you don't know, but you're open to him, revealing things to you for you to eventually know and believe. So maybe that's why you are chosen, right? The reason why you have those doubts and seeking specific evidence is why you are chosen, because God wants to reveal himself to you in a way that would meet those needs, in a way that would basically provide the evidence with so much detail and descriptions that you are seeking and that you want. Yeah, so that's the life of Thomas. Yeah, beautiful journey. So the next disciple that we are going to look at and see why Jesus chose him was is James, right? So that is part 9 of the You Are Chosen series. We'll explore the life of James and see why he was chosen. What do we even know about him and why was he chosen? Find out in part 9 of the You Are Chosen series.